Hey Skyfarers, and welcome to Aethercast, the Kharadron Overlords podcast. I'm Lee, the Arcanet Admiral, and today I'm joined by a couple of great admirals, both of which are better at Warhammer than myself. First of all, you know him, you love him. He's our thunderer from Down Under. He's Mr. Alexander Cron.
Good to be back.
Yeah, glad to have you back, Cron. You've been off gallivanting around YouTube.
I have. Did another battle report with Doom, and another one that should actually be coming up, being put up in a couple days.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh yes, I've got the scoop from Cinderfall that you've done. You've had another game that's going on soon.
Yeah, this one with the usual list, the Tarkin Doctrine.
with all the thunderers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And cool. So we look forward to seeing that. And if anyone hasn't seen the most recent one on Doom and Darkness's channel, then go check it out because it's a fun battle.
Just ignore the part where I hitch onto terrain. That's entirely not my fault because reasons. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, everyone forgets things sometimes. We will be joined by Max at some point. He's just running a bit late because he's at a tournament. But we do have another German instead, the man of the hour, the grand champion, Mr. Timo Wiebel.
Good evening.
Thank you for coming on, Timo.
Yeah, thank you for your invitation.
Yeah. It's great to have you on, especially on the back of your recent success. Well, I guess the first thing we'd like to hear from you is just a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm like 2 years in the hobby now. I started with Nighthaunt, and then I switched over in the late December last year to the Kharadron Overlords, just a few weeks before the new battle tome came out. I think I saw the teaser which said you can shoot out of the boat and make some drive-by things now, and that was the one thing which catched me really bad, and yeah. Then I painted things up during lockdown, and then I won the German Tabletop Championships.
You make it sound easy.
Actually, I never thought that could happen at all, because I'm more a casual gamer than I play competitive. It was my second tournament, and my first tournament was with Legion of Grief. So I had not really much experience with KO, and I didn't face many different armies yet. I was lucky that I played versus Mate's Change Host just 2 weeks before the tournament, because I had 2 enemies playing that list at GTC, and yeah, but I never played to Idoneth. I never played versus Seraphon, and I never played versus Archon as well. So it was a new experience, and I somehow handled it very good.
I don't think many people would be happy that they were facing a change host, but
yeah, I think it's a really good matchup. It's a really good matchup for KO, especially for my list, I think. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we have a look at the list?
Yeah. Well, before we do, should we have a little bit of a chat about the news? very
sure,
briefly.
Yeah.
So
some good news for KO, I guess. Good or bad, depending. GW together with Dan from AOS Shorts has released a meta report about how various factions are going in tournaments, and we're doing pretty well. We're doing really well.
Well, we should know because we've interviewed half the winners.
Yeah, we've had half those people on the show.
Yeah, and they one of the list they gave us as example was actually very close to yours, Teemo. We lost him.
I think Teemo's dropped out.
He's back. Here we go.
Teemo.
Can you hear us okay, Teemo? Oh. Not sure if you can hear us.
Teemo?
Yeah, so
all right, well, so yeah, we've won KO as a whole have won a lot of games and placed top 10 in even more, to the point where it looks like we're double that of Seraphon, which is not what I was expecting.
Yeah. So I was trying to chat to Tiro, trying to see if we can fix why he can't hear us. Yeah, but I guess the main thing about it is that a lot of people are wondering if we're going to get nerfs in December now.
I think we might. They specifically talked about the Zilfin fly high and then move afterwards. So I'm thinking that might get something changed about it.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they answered it in the FAQ, and then
they did.
A bit surprised how they answered it, really.
Which was in the best possible way for us. Teemo?
Yeah. Can you hear us, Teemo? He's back, but I think he can't hear us again. Sorry about this, everyone. Technical difficulties, unfortunately.
We'll get him back on.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the nerfs, I mean, then we had the points changes as well, which surprised me when we first had them.
Yeah, so the first FAQ and points changes were all very much in our favor. And I think it's definitely helped getting us to where we are now. Then we just have an amazing set of generals, really, but yeah, it's definitely helped.
Not for me.
Well, are you not doing well in tournaments at the moment?
Well, I haven't had many tournaments because of lockdown. Teemo says he can hear us now. Teemo, can you
speak?
Well, obviously he can speak. He says whether we can hear him.
We can't hear you, Teemo.
Yeah, Jordan in the chat says he thinks the Endremaster individual should go back up 20 points. And the Navigator could potentially go up 10 points.
Possibly. He's very good.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right.
Well, glad to have you back. Yeah. So we've just been talking about potential nerfs for KO.
If we're the top of the pack by that far, I think Games Workshop is going to try to do something.
Yeah, I think they will. I think they were in a good position before the GHB came out already, and then they, if you take my list, for example, it's one gun hauler for free after point drops, 130 points, and that's just, I don't know if that was necessary.
The other thing is it's not just having an extra gun hauler; it gives you the extra movement on your third unit of riggers as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my list got an extra 3 riggers for free. It dropped 100 points. That's not insignificant.
Yeah, and Phil McGuinness, who we had on previous shows, his list went down 170 points, which is massive, isn't it? I mean, I think some of the points drops were helpful in terms of the internal army balance, but then they've obviously messed up the balance externally with other armies.
Possibly. It feels so weird to just suddenly KO are at the top of the pack. Like, remember when we started this podcast?
Yes. Yeah, we're trying to convince people that KO was actually not as bad as people thought.
And now here we are going, maybe we could do with some nerfs.
Yeah, Jordan raises an interesting thing in the chat about spelling a bottle being linked to a specific skyport.
Oh yeah,
which should be interesting. Like a Barak one, maybe, since they're all anti-magic and stuff. I don't know. I don't know how they do that in a December FAQ though. Is the trouble? That's the thing. Is short of a new book, they're limited on what they can do.
Oh, remember the old FAQs? They changed artifacts. Yeah. They changed the full wording of those.
Yeah, but they got the backlash from it, didn't they?
They can bring the banhammer down on hard if they wanted to.
Yeah, it just depends how much they want, because they got so much backlash from it. It depends how much they want to do it. So I mean, I wouldn't mind if it's just points changes. I wouldn't necessarily want everything to go back up. I think some of the things stay where they are. I would like to see maybe a difference between engine riggers and sky wardens.
I think makes riggers more expensive than sky wardens, whether that's by putting sky wardens up, putting riggers up, or taking sky wardens down. Either way, give me a reason to use sky wardens.
Yeah, outside of Zon and the escort wing.
Yeah.
I think the bigger ships were okay. The 30 points on the Ironclad and the frigate was just fine. And I think the drop on the Endron Master was okay as well. But the gun hauler didn't need a drop. And yeah, maybe the Endron riggers should go up 10 points. Maybe. I don't know. But at this point, there's just no use for Sky Wardens out of Sun.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and I'd like to see. I mean, I don't think. Oh, they might do it. I don't know. Maybe they'll do it as, like throwing us a bone if they put lots of things up, but Brock to come down further. Poor old Brock.
And it'd be nice. Maybe we'll see Brock again. Maybe. One day.
Yeah, so, I mean, potentially there's nerfs inbounds, but there's nothing we can really do about it except for speculate. And I could go on for hours speculating, so...
I know.
maybe we...
I think we have a couple of episodes where we've done that.
Yeah. Should we move on to the main attraction?
Yes.
Which is Teemo's tournament win. So let's start by having a look at his list. So this is the list, which is Barak Zilfin, 2,000 points on the nose. You have an Endrin Master with Dirigible Suit as your general, with Great Tinkerer command trait and the Staff of Ocular Optimization. A Chemist with Spell in the Bottle. A Navigator. 10 Arcanauts with 1 Light Skyhook and 1 Volley Gun. 6 units of not 6 units, 3 units of 6 Endrin Riggers. Sorry. 2 of the units have got 2 Volley Guns and 2 Drill Launchers. 2 Gun Haulers, both with Sky Cannons, 1 with the Spar Torpedo and 1 with the Surge Injection Endrins. An Ironclad with the Sky Cannon and the Last Word Endrin work. And the Iron Sky Command Battalion and Warp Lightning Vortex.
Yes.
So, my first thoughts is that's... I don't want to say a standard list, but it's something that it's got a lot of elements that people will be familiar with.
Yes. I think if you pick the Iron Sky Command, you're a bit forced to play a very similar list at least. You're locked to the Engine Riggers, to the Arcanauts, to the 3 heroes, and I think the 3 heroes are very much set at the moment. I saw a list with an Admiral as well, but I think he dropped before the event. But I think that's you don't have much to change if you pick the Iron Sky Command. Well, of course, you can just play 1 unit Riggers and then go for another drop maybe, or just max out the Thunderer squad. Yes. Pick the Endrin Master and the command trait Great Tinkerer, which I considered to exchange for the Grudge Bearer, which is more standard, I think, because the most people like to just focus down 1 grudged hero they pick early. I picked the Great Tinkerer above it because it always felt like I had enough to focus down the small heroes with like the drill launchers and the long-range sky cannons. And I had problems to get my Endrin Master in the range for the battery in the 12-inch. So I'm more into buffing the Gaze of Grungni with Great Tinkerer and Staff of Ocular Optimization, which makes it 2+2+, -1 D3 damage. And that was actually pretty effective, especially versus Pink Horrors and Skinks and all the chuff you have to clear, because bodies is a big problem for KO. So if you can clear more small bodies, you're ahead on the objectives. And that was the plan with the Great Tinkerer command trait. And after the tournament, I was pretty happy how this worked, because I think my Endrin Master had similar output, like my Ironclad in some games. It was crazy.
Sounds like you're saying it's a... Oh, sorry, Quan, do you want to go ahead? Or...
Oh. No, I was going to ask about the riggers, but you can do that later.
Okay. I was going to say, it sounds like you're picking Great Tinkerer because it's more useful for the Endrin Master over the course of the whole game, and in more situations, whereas Grudge Bearer, it kind of forces you to, right, well, I've got to go after that hero with him now, as opposed to, having more choice with your targets.
Yes, especially because we have with the Warp Lightning Vortex and the 6 riggers with the chainsaws, you already have a really strong alpha strike, and it's more the rest of the game that makes the Great Tinkerer trait good. Yeah, I think I can remember that you teased the lists before the tournament, and when you talked about my list, you said, or Max said, he wouldn't take the 6 Enrin riggers with chainsaws with his ironclad and his once per battle move, because it makes no sense to charge into the Warp Lightning Vortex. Actually, I never did this. But you can just fly high, put the vortex on one flank, and move 10 inches in the other direction. Just shoot it up what you can, and then charge in there. And the rest of his army is locked down with the Warp Lightning Vortex, where he can't run, he can't fly. Yeah, that's a bit more of the plan.
Okay. Yeah. So is that a sort of a standard play for you to try and put the vortex on a flank?
Depends on the setup my enemy chose, because in my second game versus Idoneth, he just placed, I think, Volturnus and 5 units eels on one big blob in the middle, and he had a ship which he blocked one side with a ship, and then I circled his whole army, or half of his army, with his Warp Lightning Vortex, and he wasn't able to fly, so he was very much locked down there for 2 rounds, even with 14-inch move. It was hard for him to get everything out, and
nice. He turned his own terrain against him.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny because I've heard Idoneth players talk about doing that to other people, putting one and blocking people in their own deployment zones. So it's nice for them to get a feel of it. Taste their own medicine.
Oh yeah.
Kron, do you want to ask the question you were going to ask about the engine riggers?
I guess, like, what made you choose 18 riggers over Thunderers, I suppose? You think the combat ability, the ability to actually do combat, was important?
Yes, that was one point, but I think I'm the 20 or no Thunderer guys. So
yep, definitely. Same here.
I think in this list I could have went for 20 Thunderers and dropped out gun haulers and some riggers, but I just made a little math there, and if you pay 200 points for 6 riggers, you have 18 shots with 3+, 4+, -1, and 1 damage. And if you have 10 Thunderers, you have 22 shots, I think.
22 shots, yeah.
If you go for all rifles with the same stats, just a bit more range, which I don't need because I want to be near anyways because of the Warp Lightning Vortex. And then you have the gold, but I think the output the 6 riggers do in the first melee turn is in the first combat turn. It's just worth going for that way. That was one thing I thought. Then then if you go for 20 Thunderers, I did say I had to drop the gun haulers and some of the Endron riggers. You have one unit and you drop that most likely in the first turn on one objective, and it's very good if he has like Archaon or something you have to delete immediately. But it will be a problem to split up shots if he plays MSU. So it's harder decision making for me, and I don't like it to have hard decisions to make. I prefer to make the enemy have the decision to make. Because that makes guys make mistakes, and especially versus a new battle tome like KO, they are not used to play against it. And I think it's a easy choice to just say, oh, okay, I just got alpha striked and there are 20 guys. They did mass amount of damage. I just try to delete them, and that would win him the game. And in this case, it's really hard to pick because I have 3 ships. You can always fly high and get your output where you want it, even after the first turn.
Yeah.
So the flexibility of the list fit better to my play style than
I can see
the
you would
20
be
Thunders.
very. It would be. This list is far more flexible than big blob of 20 Thunderers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Just I'm just wary of getting into combat with anything nowadays because it all does so much damage that if you get it wrong, everything's dead.
Yeah, that's true.
But your 2 units of 6 Endromegas with the longer range guns, obviously you're not going to be sending those into combat turn 1 anyway. I assume. Are you flying high with them and going 9 inches away or 12 inches away to get their pistols in range as well, or are you holding them further back in most games and shooting from a longer range?
Due to the fact that I played with Singe 3 times, I wasn't afraid of close combat at all, so I had them really near, and versus the Idoneth, I kept them on distance, and it's most of the times it's a 1 or 2 turn choice, because after that the Endron riggers are very often dead, and you maybe leave the Endron riggers on one point and just fly high with the gun hauler.
Yeah, that's one of the issues with Endron riggers is there's only in your 6-man units there's only 12 wounds, and because they're outside of the ship, they're not getting any of the benefits from being garrisoned. And then obviously, Quan mentioned the mistake he made in the Doom and Darkness battle report was when you fly high with them, you can't land them on terrain either, so they're not going to get cover that way.
Yes, that's an issue. That's right. Yeah.
One of the things I find really interesting about the list is the use of the surge injection engines. And then it was quite interesting because I'd never seen it before. And then when we did the review show of the lists for the tournament, there were 2 players, yourself and I think it was, I can't remember the other player's name actually. I think it might have been Phil, maybe, that was using it as well. Do you 2 know each other, or
No.
Is it just a coincidence?
We don't know
each
other.
Hot play.
Do you want to?
I don't know.
Talk us through your choice there.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to. I had the option to pick either this or make him a 5-man transport gun hauler, and have this for a trick with the chemist and the spell in a bottle. Okay, but I know that it's good to have the ironclad where you want it, and that's near his screen, most likely. And especially with the last word, you always want him to charge your ironclad. Most people won't focus on your ironclad because they know, oh, the thing is very tanky. He can reroll saves. He has 3+, and I think you can really much say this ship can hold nearly anything for one turn, and I didn't see much use of the once per game ability to waste on a gun hauler if I have the ironclad instead, and then there was 3 or 4 situations before the tournament where I had a good use to the surge injection engine. Even in the tournament, I had a really nice move with 24 inches, where I got a head full and a 5 and a 6 on the engine.
Yeah.
And that's something your enemies are not aware of, because they always try to screen the fly high, and I had a situation that he screened the fly high and let his objective empty. So I flew 24 inches just on the objective and was able to shoot after that. And that was 4 points on the, I think, Battle for the Pass it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, on his home objective. And yes, so it's either this or the other. I think there's no best choice. I think everyone who prefers the compartments is fine as well. I just like the idea of having a movement trick, another movement trick, because we already have plenty of
We
this.
need more of those. We need more of those. No, I think it's a good pick. Because there's nothing really that you have that would need to be in a compartment anyway, since it all can fit in the ironclad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And most of the time it was I had the big ship for just the chemist, and I had the Arcanauts put outside of the boat, and the navigator. I set him up on outside of the boat in 3 out of 5 games, and had enough range for his Unbind and his Aether Storm, and was able to hold another objective with him, because until the enemy will bring some troops to your home objective, he already scored 2 or 3 points, and you didn't need to leave something important there. And I think most of the enemies I faced expected to drop them 10 Arcanauts in his face. Sometimes before the game, they talk to themselves and try to figure out what I was doing. And when I listened to them, I always thought, okay, no, I'm not going to do this. But it's funny. Sometimes it's a really big advantage to have a new army and to
that people just don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's good. The chemist in the Ironclad with his little luxury first class passenger seat stretches out.
Spread eagle because there's room for 14 other guys in there, and he's just making snow angels or whatever in the carpet.
Having a great old time.
No, I really like the pick of the Endrins on the gun hauler. I think part of the reason I haven't seen them in a lot of lists is because often actually you see people taking Zilfin and actually they might only have 2 boats, or maybe even 1, or you see lists in other skyports or something where they don't get the 3rd Endrin work.
Yeah.
The lists with more boats in Zilfin often have frigates, so they're quite often using one of those Endrin works. So I think that's part of the reason the Spar Torpedo is quite often most people's first pick.
Yes, but I don't like to waste resources, and if you get that 1 Endrin work for free, you should use it.
Yeah.
It's, always good to use it. Yes.
As quite often when I see people's lists, and I quite often make the comment of wasted Endrin work makes me sad. I think the movement trick with it is really good, especially since you can quite often get zoned out of objectives, like you said. And even if just one model on an objective can just stop you flying high onto it, so having a way to move onto it is really useful. And it looks like Max is here.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everyone?
Pretty good. We were just wrapping up talking about Timo's list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please proceed.
How did you get on at your tournament, Max?
Let's not talk about it.
Oh no.
I had 1 win against the shootcast list, and then it was downhill from there. Shifting objectives against Fire Slayers is tough, but it was a close game. I lost it, and the last was against Catacross Praetorian Army on total commitment. And I've never rolled that many 1s in my life before. So yeah, they're tough. Those 60 Mortic, they're tough to kill. It was fun. I had a good time. It was fun. But it's a long drive. It's quite far.
Well, you should have flown. Should have flown high. You would have been here in no time.
Yeah. Well, at least my mate, he won the tournament, so that was good.
That's good.
The Seraphon Croak Salamander spam.
Oh, I wonder how he won the tournament with that.
Must have been a tough tournament for him.
Yeah.
Well, we can't really, but yeah.
Actually, yeah, KO went. Ooh.
Yeah.
We're not punching down anymore. We're not punching up anymore. It's.
Yeah,
I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah. Well, it's the way it is. So we earned it. We've earned our stripes. So
yeah,
we deserve it.
I'm just doing this so we don't get nerfed.
Yeah. Yes, you're doing your part.
All for you. It's all for the community.
For the greater good.
Yeah. You're
so selfless, Max.
Yeah. I know. I do what I can.
Balancing out Teemo's tournament win single-handedly.
Exactly.
So before we move on to your games, Teemo, I just want to pull out a question from the chat from the Green Nudges. He asked if you had any sort of particular preparation for the tournament. I assume you had some practice games and stuff, or?
Yes, actually we had. I started to play Age of Sigmar with a friend of mine, and we had a couple of games. I played versus Silvernet, versus Gloomspite Gids, versus Nurgle, and versus Change Host, and versus Ogre Maw Tribes. Yeah, I was able to make some practice games with him, and that helped really much, I think, yes.
Did you
Especially because I always played with this list. After I painted it up, I never changed it. And I think that's an important way to try out how things work. Of course, I changed some weapon loadouts and even the engine works, or the main weapon of the Ironclad. I think I swapped it to the Great Sky Cannon after I playtested the volley gun 4 games. Yeah, and that's something helped me really good. Yeah.
The cannon is just so much more consistent with its 6 shots, 3 threes, 2 damage. I love the 2 damage.
Yeah.
So, did you know the battle plans for the tournament in advance?
Yeah.
I so did. I assume you were practicing those battle plans as well then?
Yes, and we had the maps, the terrain loadout, and the auxiliary objectives as well. So we were able to copy that and just play some missions from the GTC. Yeah. So we placed the terrain like there and used the same terrain rules and stuff. So, yeah.
Okay, I can imagine that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at the first game then, which you mentioned. Obviously, you played Change Host quite a bit, and the first one was against Change Host. So, yeah, it was an Eternal Conflagration list, 1980 points. He had a Lord of Change, who is the general with the commander Coruscating Flames, an Aura of Mutability artifact. Spell was Fold Reality, had a Changeling with Bolt of Zinch, a Changecaster with Herald of Zinch, Changecaster Herald of Zinch with Zinch's Firestorm, a Fate Master with the Shroud of Warpfire, 2 Exalted Flamers, and then 4 units of 3 Standard Flamers, and then 1 unit of 6 Standard Flamers, the Change Host Battalion, and a Malevolent Maelstrom. So, I can't remember. Did you say you hadn't played Change Host before, or you had practiced against it?
I had 1 match against it before, and he played a bit. I think his list was a bit better because the thing I feared most was the pink horrors, 20 pink horrors, and I think he played 9 flamers instead of 18.
Yeah.
So all you need is 9.
Yeah.
It's a lucky Zench number as well. So you know.
So,
yeah, this list has no screens. Like,
yeah.
Unless you summon something.
Before we started, I thought this is going to be easy for me because he has no screen. And I knew flamers are very easy to kill. Bad save, 2 life, 6 I think 6 wounds.
Yep.
But I also knew the output is really dangerous. And then I made a little setup mistake, I would call it.
Ooh.
Because I tried to bait him into moving forward and leaving his own objective. And I placed my gun hauler with the engine, with the injection engine, just at the edge of my deployment zone. So the other gun hauler and the 6 riggers were in the corner, and the Ironclad with the other 6 riggers as well. And then I had 10 Arcanauts on the front edge, or on the top edge. I was the red side of the map. and I placed my navigator on the objective, and in his first turn he moved everything up and ported his 6 flamers, and he rolled the reroll hits triumph. So he had that as well on the 6 flamers out of the 12-inch bubble of his buff hero. I don't know which is which it was.
Fate Master gives reroll hits.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so he had that for the 6 flamers out of the bubble as well. And he killed 10 riggers with the special weapons and 1 gun hauler in his first turn.
Ooh.
But he just killed the one with the Endrin, the injection Endrin, and I had the torpedo for the next turn. Yeah, I think it was due to the fact that I got the double turn there, that I handled it so easy. But did I get it actually? I can't remember if I did the double or if he won the prior roll. I think I had a double because
you were able to double turn and then shoot most of his army off.
Yeah, I think
with the remaining...
his biggest problem was to score points in this mission. He had to move the through the middle, so he had only his objective, and I think in the first turn he scored 1 point for his objective. And he had to port his 6 flamers out of the top right objective because he wouldn't have been in range from there. So in my turn, I used the once per battle ability to fly my Ironclad on his objective. And yeah, he had to move 8 inches to came in range for the other 12 flamers. So he had only his lot of change. No, he didn't have his lot of change in range. There was another, I think it was an Exalted Flamer, and that was all he had on his home objective. And I was able to fly high and got behind him. Then I put down the Vortex into 9 flamers, his lot of change, and 2 exalted flamers. I then rolled a 6 on the lot of change for the vortex damage. And I think he ate 5 mortal wounds after 2 triggers. Actually, in this game, the lot of change was alive after the first battle round. But he had lost 3 flamers of his unit of 6, and I think 5 other flamers and both exalted flamers. And I had my Endrin Master with suit and my Endrin Riggers in close combat with his lot of change. It was Chamon, and I used the Chamon command ability to negate his -2 to hit to just have the -1 to hit in close combat. So I did a bit of damage in close combat to him, and I think after the first battle round, his lot of change was alive with 3 wounds or something.
Oof.
So
yeah.
But I didn't get the double because if I think about it, if I got the double, he would have been dead in that turn. So he won the priority roll, and he ported out one of his hero on the bottom objective, and I think he killed another 2 riggers and the gun hauler. But after that turn, he just had 2 flamers, 1. I don't know, not the buffing hero. It's the non-flying hero he had. He was alive, and yeah, I think that was all he had at the end of the second battle round, and I had the Ironclad and 2 Enron riggers left, so not that much. But yeah, I knew I already scored more, and he had no chance to kill my Ironclad, and in my next turn he was tabled, and then I scored 3 turns, all objectives, and yeah.
So did at some point he kill your navigator?
Yeah, I think he killed my navigator in the first battle round because of my setup fault.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. If it was another change host list, I think I could have lost this one to that. But yeah, I didn't need that much output because of his 18 flamers. I was able to handle them very well. I think I had a good matchup in this first game. Yeah, I was very nervous, and yeah, I think I never did another fault like that for the rest of the tournament. So,
yeah. I mean, good that you make it early, so you can learn for the rest of the game, the rest of the event.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, losing the navigator is quite important on this battle plan, because if he'd survived, then it would have been an extra point for you at least once.
Yeah.
It sounds like, and until his second turn, you both sort of ignored the side objectives and just went for each other's.
No, because I just used my. I think I used my fly high with the gun hauler and put it up on the top right objective, and just killed 3 flamers with it. Yeah. And then I charged into the flamers, and I rolled 1 with the torpedo. But I was still in the objective with one knot of the base, and so I scored 1 there, and I had 2 riggers left on the for the on objective. I just used them to score here, and I just dropped the chemist on his objective, so I had 2 on his objective after the Enron riggers moved and charged, and he only had 1 exalted flamer, and I got the extra point for the chemist on his objective.
Yeah.
So I scored 4 in the first round, and I think 4 in the second round, and then I scored just every objective.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, I think getting the chemist on there was really helpful for those extra points. But obviously, if you killed everything he had in 2 rounds, then it would have made it. Didn't it was helpful in terms of getting out ahead on points, but he can't catch up if he hasn't got any models left anyway. So
that works.
Always works. So yeah, I don't think I've got any questions about that game, because it sounds like he went first and basically didn't kill enough of your stuff.
Yes.
And then you punished him for it.
Yes.
And because he didn't have any screens or bodies, he couldn't stop you getting on his home objective. Does anyone else have any questions about that game? So that's a no.
I mean,
No, don't think so.
This mission is rather easy for KO because you can just jump with a hero in a boat on his back objective, score 3 points at once, and then just apply power where you need it. Jump around, circle. Yep.
Yeah, especially if they don't screen you out or zone you
Yeah,
off.
this list, no screens. Yeah, it is. I don't know what the plan is with that list. Either it wants to go first because it's low drop and it's just not be in range, or get shot off. I don't know. Where's the screen? At least, I don't know, 20 brims. I think something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, this one.
And I assume did you score your auxiliaries on this game, Teemo?
Yes, both. And he got 1, so I won this 19-1. I think it was a major victory, and I scored both side quests. Yeah.
Excellent.
I can't remember which I picked. I think it was. I can't remember. No.
No, fair enough. There's a lot to remember from 5 games, especially a week later. So, fair enough. So your next game was against Idoneth.
Yeah.
That
was a hard one.
So many eels.
Yeah.
So many eels.
So for the people not that will be listening on a podcast later rather than watching, I'll just read it out for them. So it's a Fufan list, exactly 2,000 points. He had Volturnus as his general, an Ishran Tidecaster with the Cloud of Midnight artifact, and the Steed of Tide spell, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
27.
7 units of 3 attacking eels, the Morso Guard, and then 1 unit of 6, and then 1 Alloplex, 1 shark.
So this is all attack, no defense, just straight up murder.
No filler, all the killer.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
that's the name of the list.
So, how did you feel when you saw this rock up at the table?
I didn't want to play against Idoneth, but I saw his list and I thought, okay, I'm gonna lose this one. 27 eels, and I wasn't able to remember exactly how the Cloud of Midnight works. I knew it can mess up one shooting phase for me, so I asked a friend of mine who knew it, and then I was able to play around that Cloud of Midnight for the whole game. So he just denied me 1 shot with my chemist on his Tidecaster, and that was all he was able to do with the Cloud of Midnight in the whole game. That was a very important thing because if you can't shoot 1 round with all you have, you're just going to lose this, because he was the only one in the tournament who was able to kill my Ironclad. And luckily it was late enough to for him to be far behind score-wise, and it was impossible to catch up the score at this point. So I took the first round, so I started, and I Like I said earlier, he had all of his, I think it was 3 or 4 units of 3 eels, his Volturnus, and his unit of 6 eels on his home objective. And there was a hill, which for the tournament, a hill meant it blocks line of sight even for flying units. And he placed one of his shipwrecks on the bottom side of his objective. So I used my fly high to get 9 inches away from his big blob of eels and Volturnus, and placed my warp lightning vortex just around them. I think there were like 12 or 15 mortals in this first round, just from the vortex. And that was really big. But then I did something he maybe overreacted on. I just charged with my Enrin Master and with my melee riggers into his units of eels. Before that, I was able to shut the Alapex and 3 eels on the top of his deployment zone, and I think I dropped the Chemist on the bottom of the on the middle bottom objective. So I already had 3 objectives. I left the Arcanauts behind on my own objective, and I think I killed 3 eels on top and the Alapex, and then I charged in with my Endrin riggers, and all of the units that were in the Warp Lightning Vortex used his once per battle lightning ability on them. So after that, I had 2 riggers left, and they killed, I think, 1 more eel or something. But he had no more lightnings to use, just on 2 units of 3. And that was something I really feared, because, we all know mortals no good.
Mortal wounds. You've got nothing. You've got nothing to save him.
Yeah. And and his first turn, he then had 3 units in close combat. So he didn't want to retreat because he wasn't able to retreat and charge, and so he used his Volturnus and 2 more units to kill my Endrin riggers and my Endrin Master, and therefore he stayed in the vortex. So he ate another mortal wounds, and he wasn't able to score the middle objectives in this round, because I already cleared on the top side, and on the bottom side he had no units near. He only had his Tidecaster near, and I had my Chemist on the objective, so he wasn't able to take that. So he just scored 1 in his round, and then I won the first priority roll, which was a big one. Yes, I took the first round again and was able to kill more eels, and then I used my fly high on the gun hauler to get just in the right corner of his deployment zone, 3 inches away of a terrain piece, which was quest for me to I had to end the turn with a 5 or more wounds unit 3 inches nearby a terrain piece in the deployment zone of my enemy. And in this tournament, it was that you get points if you deny that for your enemy. So he wanted to deny that, and he used 3 units from him to move from the objectives into his corner and attacked my gun hauler. So at the end of the round, I had no gun hauler, but he wasn't able to score the bottom objective, and I think he was able to score the top middle objective, so he scored 3 this round. Then he got a double, which was a bit of a threat because it was round 2 on round 3, and he was able to kill my Ironclad in that turn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With eels.
Yeah, I think it was just 2 units of 2 eels at this point. He had 3 units of 2 eels left and Volturnus with 3 damage on him and his Tidecaster. And
wow, yeah.
Yeah, I was able to kill another eel with the last word. Like I said before, I was able to shoot 4 or 5 times with last word this match, and killed 4 or 5 eels with that. So that made a big difference. Yeah, my Ironclad was on the top objective, which he already had, so he didn't score more than 3 this round. And in my next turn, I scored his objective because there was no unit left, and I had another gun hauler to just use the injection engine to fly 24 inches. And he had, like I said, he screened the 9 inches for the fly high, but he didn't knew I'm able to fly 24 inches and then still shoot.
Yeah.
So he knew I can't fly on the terrain, and I can't fly in 9-inch from his Tidecaster, but I was able to fly 24-inch and just ended on his objective and scored 7 in this round. Yeah. And then I think I got a double and scored 7 again, and then there was no way to come back for him. I think when the game ended turn 5, he had 1 eel fighting my 10 Arcanauts on my objective, and rest of him got shot. My gun hauler just made a single shot that where I was really lucky with single shots at this tournament. So I think when I decided to single shot, I always hit them and I always wounded them. And I think Volturnus ate 5 damage and just died.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the moment where he, I think he conceded this game, because there was 3 eels and the Volturnus, then there were 3 eels. The next round I killed 2 other eels, and then, yeah, I think at the end of the game I still had the chemist on the bottom middle objective who scored 5 times alone. And 1 gun hauler and 10 Arcanauts. So,
and the navigator was there too, I remember.
Yeah, I think the navigator.
He was running about the vortex somewhere. I remember checking the game, yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't have the navigator because my vortex killed it.
No.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Happens.
Yeah. That's the trade-off. Yeah. but it was a really tough game. I think he I had 90 points left, or 100. No, I had 180 points left, and he had 170 points left at the end of the battle. So 10 kill points difference.
It's just everything died.
Yes, but point-wise, I was, I think, 24 to 10 or something like that. So
Okay, yeah.
You were well ahead.
and I won this 19 to 1 again.
Yeah. So it sounds like he focused a bit too much on trying to deny your auxiliary rather than.
Yeah, that was one issue, and he focused on killing stuff instead of scoring objectives. So I talked to him 2 or 3 times after our game, and he knew what he did wrong, but he said I played it very well, and I think, well, he thought it wouldn't make much of a difference if he played it a bit slightly different. I don't know.
Nice.
Maybe I think his deployment was his main fault, and I think that was the big thing.
A good opponent then, at least.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. He joined me today on the tournament with his eels. I have a question, Timo. Were you not concerned in placing the vortex on his objective, so endangering your units on this important objective that scores you 4 points? Did that not bother you? So putting it on an objective where you actually want to
go? Yes, but it's like for him, his objective is a bit unimportant, more unimportant. And it was a reason for him to leave it alone. So my gun hauler was able to score it as one model, one turn. And I think my navigator or another gun hauler scored it another turn alone as well. And even if I took some mortals from that, I think it was worth it, because he needed 2 turns to get out of my vortex. Then he was out of my vortex, and I was able to just fly on the empty objective with the gun hauler who had 10 wounds left. And I knew even if I roll unlucky double sixes, he would be alive. So there was nothing much to fear.
Yeah, it sounds like that moment when you use the surge injection engines to fly 24 inches was really important, and you wouldn't have been able to do that if the vortex hadn't been there, because he probably wouldn't have moved off it. So
no.
Yeah, again, those 4 points are really important in this game.
Yeah, definitely.
So is there any other questions about this game, or do you think we can move on?
Move on to the next one.
Let's move on then. So
more Tzeentch.
Yes. Yeah. So this is another game against Tzeentch. You'd already practiced against Tzeentch and then played someone game 1. So did you go into this one feeling confident?
I heard he is a really good player.
Yeah, he came second today.
Oh.
So I was a bit nervous as well, but I knew I can beat the list, and it's nearly the same list my friend played. So I knew what he was able to do, and he played it a bit different. And it was actually a very funny game because I knew the rounds will go really fast. I let him think about his setup, and I think he took like 30 minutes to make his first drop. And after we set up, there was only 2.5 hours left. So we needed 1 hour to set up. Then he started. He ported all of his pink horrors and buffs his pink horrors in front of me. And I think he shot 12 Enrenriggers with the special weapons. And then...
How had you deployed? Where were your units?
They were in the right corner, but I already also had the 10 Arcanauts on the number 3 objective on this map, and something on the 4 as well. I think I took the bait in this battle, and I just placed my chemist on the objective as the bait. Right. And yeah, he then ported his 20 pings and buffed them and shot 12 of my Enrenriggers. And then I got the double turn, and he was completely deleted. He just had blue horrors left, which he then used to retreat to score his auxiliary objective, and then he conceded because he only had blue horrors left. And
okay.
I killed everything in a double turn.
The KO double turn, you don't mess with it.
Yeah. And that was the first game I had really hot dice. I think my gun haulers killed in my first turn with single shots the Blue Scribes and his Fate Master. And my Ironclad and Vortex solo killed his Lord of Change.
Okay.
Yeah, and the 9 Flamers were killed by the 9 Riggers and the Endrin Master, and then he had, in my second turn, he just had the Brimstones, the Pinks, and I think 1 other hero left. And I then killed 20 Pinks and some Blues, and the hero and the Brims, and yeah, that was game 3. He never played to KO before our game, and he said he knew it's broken, but
broken. Plays a change host flamer list. Tells us we're broken.
He heard it's broken. And he asked me how he could do better versus that list, and I told him that I don't know because I don't play change host. Yeah, but I also told him that I think that that's a very good matchup for me. And in this game, he scored 4 points in the first round, and I scored 5 points in the first round, and then I scored 6, and then I scored 8 because he was dead.
Yeah. So pretty good game then, huh?
Yeah, he had 400 kill points from his first turn, and I had his whole army.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess my only question about it is if he spent half an hour trying to decide how to deploy his first unit and then overall you both took an hour to deploy everything. How did he deploy? Did he try and zone out a large area of space and stop you flying high into it, or?
The thing is, he screened as much as he could with his pink horrors, but then he used his first turn to just port the pink horrors in front of me. So, but he said, I can't screen 24-inch range, and I told him which weapons have 24-inch range. So the drill cannons, the volley guns, the sky cannons,
torpedoes.
And he said, okay, I can't screen that, so I'm going to try to kill you and try to kill your long range weapons. And that worked because he killed 12 Enron riggers, and then the drill cannons and the volley guns were dead, but most of the output were the other 6 riggers, and they killed 6 flamers and an exalted flamer in shooting and close combat.
How'd you get through 100 wounds worth of pink horrors?
I only killed the pink ones and some blues. I didn't kill all of them in the double turn. He had, I think he had 35 blue horrors left in his turn, and that was it.
Yeah, it took me 2 rounds to get all of them gone. But that's with 20 thunders. Rerolling everything.
Yeah.
It's a lot of wounds.
So, but his horrors, did he just have them sort of clumped on the number 4 objective on one of your objectives, or did he try and string them out to get onto, say, the central objective or anything?
I think he had a middle one, but not with the pink one. With the pink horrors, he had the middle one with, I think, 3 flamers and an exalted flamer. So I immediately took it from him.
Yeah.
And his pink horrors were screened on the right side, so just in front of my deployment zone and the 4th objective. And I just ignored them for the first round. And in my second round, there was nothing else to focus on. So, it felt a bit oppressive because I think the dice made the big difference here, because I won the first roll off with a 2 in that game. So I rolled a 2 and he rolled a 1. But I think even if he took the first turn of the second round, he had 20 pinks left, he had 10 brims left, he had 1 damaged hero left, and he was already 1 point behind. So even if he would have managed to kill more from my army, there was no comeback at that moment, because he had no port from the Lot of Change. And he only had the Fate Master, I think, and 20 pinks and 10 brims after my first turn. So there was no way back.
Tzeentch just doesn't have defense against shooting. Like, they fold very quickly. They don't have good armor saves. They don't have good wounds aside from pink horrors. They will just fold if you shoot them with all the Rend 1 that we have.
Yeah. I mean, the Lord of Change has a -1 to hit bubble, 12-inch, but apart from that,
KO scissors to Zench's paper.
Yeah, and because I knew that Artifact gives this -1 to hit bubble, and his Lot of Change already had, I think, 5 mortals from the Vortex. So I focused on him first, and then the rest of his army was free to get shot.
Yeah, because if you take him out, then they can't teleport anymore. Yeah, interestingly, Andreas, he then played me in the last round in this tournament, and today he played another 2 KO in the 3-day tournament. But he won both today.
Oh,
both
okay.
matches against.
He learned.
Yeah, so he's learning. Yeah, he's
Okay.
learning. Mine was a draw, which was a victory for me because of kill points, because he got tabled. But yeah, he's
Did he
learning.
play the same list?
Yeah,
Because
exact same list.
Okay. He told me he's going to change it.
Nah,
a bit.
I mean, he told me he never played KO before when he played me. So, I mean, he's changed. He just deceives.
It's the great deceiver.
Yeah. He asked me after our game, how to play versus your list, and he asked me really everything.
And you told him
everything. I told him I don't know what to do versus my list, but I don't know what to do versus your list as well, because he wanted to know all weapon profiles from the Thunderers, and I told him, yeah, they make even more damage than I did.
Yeah.
And you can screen it out, and he rerolls hits and he rerolls wounds, and you will lose, I think, 70 wounds around. And then he said, okay, I'm going to lose this as well. Yeah. He asked me if he should go first. I said, I don't know. I really have no idea. I'm so happy that I don't had the mirror match in this tournament, because I really don't know how to play versus KO as well, especially as KO. I think it's much about the ether gold and yeah. But then it's the dice, I think.
Yeah, it's if you get lower drops and if you can get your opponent to use his gold first. That's I think it's a good tactic. But it's a bit like chess, especially if your list is similar. So who's gonna go first? Who's gonna draw first and shoot? Yep.
So let's move on to a game that wasn't against Siege.
Seraphon.
That was by far the hardest match of the tournament.
Yeah, this match, I watched your table. I thought, oh, he's winning this. There's nothing left. I came back an hour later. You were still playing, and there's more skinks than before.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of bodies to start with. I'll go through the list. We didn't do it on the last one. I forgot. So, Croak, obviously, general. An Astrolith Bearer, 2 Skink Priests, and then 2 Skink Star Priests, one with the Hand of Glory spell, one with Celestial Harmony, a unit of 3 Salamanders with their handlers as well, obviously, 2 units of 40 Skinks, a unit of 20 Skinks, and a unit of 10 Skinks. They haven't all got the same weapon load out, but I can't bother to read them out. And then he's got a Balewind Vortex, Chronomantic Cogs, and an extra command point. So, had you practiced against Seraphon at all?
No.
No,
I never played against Seraphon before. Even do I know him, because we play in the same gaming group, and he's a really good player. And but I never played versus Seraphon, and I knew his list, and he told me how his list works and stuff, and I know, okay, the Star Priests and the Skink Priests are the tech and the Astrolite Bearer, so I'm most likely ignoring Croak and focus on the other heroes. And that was the right decision after all. My first turn, I took the first turn, and I was able to score 5 points in the first turn, and I think the Blade's Edge is a good battle plan for me in this matchup. Because even if he took the double turn, I can remove an objective, and then it's always the run after the points. In my first turn, I was able to kill the 3 Salamander hunting packs, the Astrolight Bearer, a Skink Star Priest, and tons of skinks. In his turn, he had a very unlucky magic phase. He rolled with +2. He didn't get the Balewind Vortex and the Cox. And I think he buffed up his units of skinks with run, shoot, charge, retreat, shoot, mortal wounds on 6s. I don't know. There are tons of buffs for the skinks, and he killed a gun hauler with that. And I think he scored 3 in the first turn, because I had 1 or 3 or maybe 6 bodies on an objective, and he just took his skinks and scored his 3 objectives. So it was a very close game over 5 turns we had to play. I think it was a back and forth. He had 4 points, I had 4 points, and I think in my second turn I then killed all of his skinks, and he had 3 heroes left and Croak. So Skink Priest, both Skink Priests and 1 Star Priest. And I think 20 skinks were left. And I think the dice were in my favor. I won the important roll-off, and he got the double for the turn 3 into 4, I think, and then he had the Croak-Nado combo with 22-inch or 16-inch. All units in 16-inch get a D3 mortal wounds on 2+, and he did this 3 times or 4 times, I don't know. And then he got 2 turns in a row, double 6s on his summoning rolls. So he summoned 20 or 40 skinks over the game, and 1 Salamander hunting pack, which was able to score an objective and kill, I think, my navigator. Yeah, it was really, really close, and at the end of the game I had the Ironclad and he had Glot Croak, and it was a minor victory for me. Rest of it was dead.
So
wow.
The interesting thing about Blade's Edge is that the objectives can be removed. So did that was that an important part of the game in terms of scoring?
I think it's always an important part on this battle plan, because I removed 1 when he got a double, and then he had to decide not to remove another one, because he was already behind on points. So he took the double turn, and I removed 1, and then he got I won the priority and took the first turn, but he couldn't remove 1, because that would have instantly lost him the game. So it was a bit. I think this battle plan is always, or most of the times, in favor of the guy who scores 6 or 5 points in the first round, and then maybe 5 points again, and then it's nearly impossible to catch up.
Yeah, that's also my
it's
impression.
really hard. Yeah,
this is one of
really
the
hard.
few where you actually might want to go first, just to score those 6 points.
Yeah, that
get
was
ahead
the
in the
plan,
point.
and
Mhm.
I think I won with 3 points ahead. Minor victory at the end.
Mm.
Yeah.
And you smashed his vortex.
I killed everything. I killed everything but Lord Croak. I never touched him. I think that's the right way how to face this.
In this kind of list, yes, I'd agree.
Yeah. If you can kill him in the first turn, and that with like 90% safety, I think it would be worth focusing on Croak. But if you know what the Skink Priest and the Star Priest do, they can run, shoot, charge, and in shooting and in close combat, they get mortal wounds if they roll a 6 on a wound roll. So you can easily make 40 models over turn with 110 skinks, because he has some rerolls also, and he's very mobile, screening his skinks over the whole map, and they get buffs on attacks. If they are 20 or more, then they get +1 to hit through a buff, and he has more command points than Gloomspite gets, so he can just spam the generic command abilities to get them reroll ones to hit and stuff. It's just retarded how these skinks snowball. Yep.
Yeah, they are strong.
So yeah, there's a lot of buffs there.
It's all about the overlapping buffs, really. Yeah, kill the Star Priests, and they stop doing that, which is nice.
Yeah.
One question: did he use the Realm Shaper engine, the terrain piece?
He set it up on the bottom side of the map, and I then picked the bottom side of the map after the roll-off.
Okay.
Because there were commanding terrain, and I had an extra CP for my first turn, and then he didn't use his terrain piece.
The real question is, did you deploy your Ironclad inside the Realm Shaper engine? I think everyone needs to know that.
And was there a garrison inside the Ironclad?
Yeah.
No, because I didn't know that's possible.
We don't know if it's possible. We assume it is possible to have a double garrison.
Yeah.
But does that work? Because it's 20. It's limited to 20 wounds.
The Ironclad has 20 wounds. It says 18 wounds.
But if you stick something inside the Ironclad.
But they're not inside the pyramid. They're inside the Ironclad, which is totally different.
Can you garrison Behemoth? Is that
yes?
Yes, they can garrison a monster, because the Troglodon can go inside, I think.
Okay, then no problem for the Ironclad.
Yeah, it's like a rule that needs clarification, but probably will never get clarification. So we just do it.
The next question is, can you fly high out of the garrison? I don't think you can.
I think you
because
can.
It's you don't get a normal move. You just get to be set up within 6 inches of it.
The problem is, if you're inside the garrison, the model has been removed from the battlefield and set aside. And to fly high, you remove the model from the battlefield, but you cannot remove what's not there. So
I don't think you can fly high out of a garrison.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think it's one of those things that'll be fun to do, but half the time it's not going to be that worthwhile unless you make your opponent go first anyway. and then it's just going to be a massive hassle trying to work out the logistics of the rules, whether you can get out of it or not and stuff. Yeah, because then the next question is, what happens if you try to get a unit that's inside the ship out of the ship? Do they get out into the pyramid or outside of the pyramid?
You set them up within 6.
Well, they can't.
The ship, and the ship is the same base as the pyramid, so within 6 of the pyramid.
Yeah,
so
you can't get them out inside the pyramid because there's no space for it.
Yeah, it's let's not go there. Yeah. Let's not go down this rabbit hole.
It's a big rabbit hole. There was a question I was going to ask before we started talking about putting things in pyramids. I can't remember what it was. Yes, it was about the summoning. So, do you think the game would have been over a lot sooner if he hadn't been able to summon so well?
I don't know. I think he summoned 2 times Skinks and 1 time Hunting Pack, and even if he summoned only 3 times Skinks, it would have been nearly same, I think. Didn't make much of a difference, but in the turn he summoned the Skinks, he scored an objective, and he had 0 summoning points, and he rolled double 6, so he was able to summon Skinks just because of that double 6, because he needs 6 summoning points to get that summon. I think 10 Skinks. And if it was a round later, he would have scored only, I think 3 points in that round, and that was a really, really tough situation. So every point was important, and was another point where I had to put my focus on. Also, because at the moment, I think I only had my Chemist and my Ironclad and my Arcanauts left. So the most of my output comes from the Ironclad. And then I have to split up my shots and focus down the Skinks, and can't focus on his Skink heroes because they... I don't care if they hold another objective at the end of the table. I don't know. It was hard to split up shots, and then I think I killed his 10 Skinks then, and a hero, and then he summoned another 10 Skinks, and I killed them again, and he was able to score every time he summoned. So it made a difference, but I think 2 points less, and I would have been 1 point ahead, but you never know. At the end, I think it's really hard to say. We both had our lucky and our unlucky moments. It was the very even. I had at one moment he shot with Skinks on one of my gun haulers and had 4 mortals and 7 wounds, and I decided that I'm able to roll 2 4s without my gold, and then I rolled 1 4. So my gun hauler just died. Sometimes greed is not good, and but most of the time I go with the math then, because I think, okay, even if the gun hauler stays alive with 1 or 2 wounds, it's worth having the gold for the next round, and maybe reroll hits or reroll wounds in the shooting phase, and then sometimes unlucky dice, sometimes lucky dice. He had unlucky dice as well. 2 of his hero phases were really bad magic-wise, and I think that made the most difference for me in that game. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, and then you're always going to get lucky dice or unlucky dice at times. So you just got to move on and just hope. If it's unlucky, hope it doesn't happen again. And when you get the lucky dice, don't complain or make a big deal out of it, or else they won't come again.
Well, after that game, I had all of my unlucky dice, I think, because in the next game I don't know. It was just crazy. I had so much luck with the dice rolls. So.
Do you want to go to the next game?
Yeah, you provided us with a brilliant segue there. So let's move on to the next game, which was
more Zinch
as well. Surprise, surprise, was against Zinch. But a little bit different because it had Archaon and Be'lakor in it. So it's a host of Carnum list. The general was a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Then he had Archaon as well. He had the Blue Scribes and Be'lakor allied in. Then he had 2 units of 10 Pink Horrors, 3 Screamers, Geminids, the Darkfire Demon Rift, and an extra command point. So, were you familiar with this type of list, or was this something new to you?
I knew the horrors and I knew the blue scribes because Andreas played them as well. And I knew what screamers can do, and I just informed me what the Chaos Sorcerer Lord will do in this game, and I heard about Be'lakor's ability to deny me nearly anything.
And of course, you can't ignore Archaon with who's just a massive threat, really.
Yeah. I think now that I've seen what he can do, I would have played it slightly different, but I think Archaon is cool, but don't know. Versus KO, it's hard to say because he said, if I had my double 6s on the Destiny dice, I could have killed your Ironclad now.
No, he couldn't.
Because Ironclad's not a hero.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something I just figured out after the tournament. So it was actually very lucky for me that it didn't happen, because at this moment, I think I just would have removed my Ironclad. That would have been sad.
So Tobias is a good player. I tested against this list with my KO before the tournament, so he knows KO and he knows what's happening. I played against him in Austria in a tournament against the exact same list. My best tactic against this list was just take first turn, remove Archaon, because he does a pre-game move, I think, in this list. So he wants him like in the front, like ready to go. That's his damage output. The rest is, frame.
I think he
Sorcerer Lord will buff him for reroll saves, so you want to not wait for that to happen, because it's 20 wounds on a free up rerollable. The Sorcerer, if you can get the Sorcerer out too, is cool because he has that Fanged Circlet, which allows him to summon 6 Screamers for free.
Yes.
So, and Be'lakor is just, Be'lakor. His ability happens no matter if he's alive or not. So, usually, and if you remove the Sorcerer Lords, no, you also need to remove Be'lakor, because they are the only 2s who can cast the Demon Rift, because they are slaves to darkness.
And Archaon himself can cast Demon Rift as well.
Himself.
Yeah. After our game, I would do it exactly like you said, but because I didn't know, can I kill Archaon in one turn?
It's a tough question.
You can, unless like me,
can.
you believe he has a 4-up feel no pain, which he does not have against normal wounds, just against mortals. But I thought he had that in my last tournament, so I did not attack him, and I just half moved him with my navigator the entire time and kited him around the board.
I did that in the first round. I half this moved, and that's just
so
amazing how a 100 points model can completely fuck up this big guy. I started setting up my whole army in one corner because I knew I'm going to start. I had only my navigator on the bottom objective and my Arcanauts on the top objective in my deployment zone, and he left his bottom objective empty and had 10 pings on his top edge and 10 pings on his middle corner, and Archaon was on the top edge, and his 3 other heroes were in the corner. And but he didn't screen it out very well, so I was able to place my vortex, so his Bellacore and Blue Scribes and his pinks were in range. It was a very poor vortex, but it did what it needed to do, because it made 2 models on Bellacore and 3 models on the Blue Scribes, and I think no models on the blue pinks. That was the vortex for, I think, the whole game. But he revealed then Bellacore would disable my Ironclad in that turn.
He always does that.
That was no surprise. And then he already knew that he can't use that versus Fly High. And so I was able to fly high, and then I moved and rolled a 5-up. And in my shooting phase, I rolled a 5-up again.
Brilliant. Oh, that's what I did.
So that's the best trick you can do, is always roll 6s. Yeah. That's the best trick you can do. And in my first battle round, I split up the shots from my Ironclad, so my single sky cannon shot went into his Chaos Sorcerer Lord. And it hit, it wounded, and he had to use his only 6 from his Destiny dice to make him stay alive. And then I shot a single shot from my gun hauler on his Chaos Sorcerer Lord, and it hit, it wounded, and he failed his save, and I rolled a 6. So
bang!
I killed,
that's what you get for not having to roll dice.
I think I killed Bellacore, Blue Scribes, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, 10 pings. I don't know how many blues, because there were many of them leaving after Battle Shock, because they were not wholly in 18 from Acorn. And 2 of his 3 Screamers, and then it was already really fucked up for him, because he was able to charge 1 unit of Riggers and had 2 of his attack profiles with 3-inch range into the gun hauler, but he didn't manage to kill the gun hauler, just the 6 Riggers. And yeah, I think score-wise it was really even because I had nothing on my middle objective and he had nothing on his bottom objective, but I think he scored 3 and I scored 3 in the first round, and then he got the double on 1-2 and was able to kill another 6 riggers, but again not the gun hauler. And then I failed my Ether Storm from the Navigator, and that was a crucial moment because after that he was able to charge into my Ironclad and my Emblem Master. And there was a moment where I thought, oh, okay, double 6s kills my Ironclad, and that would have just been game then. But yeah. I think the Ironclad was alive with 8 lives after combat, and my Endron Master was full, and then I won the priority roll, just denied his flying, made that disengage move, and just killed Archaon and 10 pings. And then he only had blue horrors left. Yeah,
what do you mean by denied his flying?
I used Aether Storm on Archaon, so he can't fly.
That halves his move. But does it stop him from flying?
I don't think it actually stops him from flying. The vortex stops him from flying.
But only in the movement phase.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I think can you disengage against the flying unit?
Yes.
No,
disengage. No, you can't.
No, you can't. You can't. Okay, but actually,
Timo, what have you done?
Cheated.
What have you done
there?
Oh, the cheater!
I know that he watches this show, so.
Oh no!
Toby, you were cheated badly by KO.
But actually, it made no difference because I was.
You would have dropped bombs on him anyway, so doesn't matter.
No, it would have made any difference because I didn't need to disengage because I can also shoot on him, and then he was just dead after my shooting phase, so it would have made no difference. Yeah, but actually I thought my Navigator...
no, he just halves movement for flying units.
Okay.
It needs to be a flying unit in order to halve the movement, but it still flies. And the vortex stops flying, but just in a movement phase. So if they pile in or charge, they can still fly, which is a bit weird, but okay. That's just a vortex.
Yeah, that's true.
And don't put a vortex around Archaon. I've done that once, trying to stop him. He just eats the vortex. And ignores the spell on the effect on a 4+ anyway.
Yeah. He told me that was the reason.
That was a waste of a spell in a bottle in my game against him.
No.
But yeah.
Good to know that I cheated and won the tournament.
That's the way to do it.
Well, actually, it wasn't that big of a cheat. Yeah.
Nah, it's good. It's fine.
You're fine.
No one knows. No one watches this show anyway.
The 6 people that are watching just...
We're like, KO. No, well done.
Games Workshop had to do a big retraction on that stats article.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder where they get their stats from, because
that's
2 days. I don't know how many 2 days happened since the
That's Dan from AOS Shorts. So he was working with them, and he gave them all their stats.
Okay.
And basically, I think he even wrote that article, or so he wrote part of it at the very least.
The one we need to bribe.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Just show Games Workshop that KO are actually doing really terribly. They're winning maybe one game, but
I won one game today, and it was luck. So I need some point discounts.
KO needs buffs. buff KO. Yeah. Ironclad down.
Yeah, 100 point gun hauler, please.
I don't think we could. I don't think we can run KO effectively until we get point discounts on hordes of Arcanauts.
Brock, I want 120 points.
Thunder's down to 100, please.
Minimum. Yeah. Okay, but well done, Timo. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was surprised. Toby's he's a good player, but he told me himself he was a bit surprised to end up with 4 wins after the first 4 rounds, competing for the win of the tournament. I think his list surprised many people. When they see Siege, they expect Change Host or Flamers, and then it's Archeon and some Screamers and Be'lakor, okay, and they're a bit confused. And the real power in that list is, of course, Archeon, but because he then casts the Geminids and the Demon Rift, and the Demon Rift then does D3 plus 3 or 4, depending what's in range. That's so he puts tough, on his own endless spell, the Geminids, and then the Demon Rift behind it. So already it gets a +1, another +1 from Archeon, who's close by, maybe another caster or some pinks. And it just 6 mortal wounds to everything.
The Geminids do more wounds as well. So,
they do damage to everything what's inside. So if it flies over the Ironclad, they also do damage to everything inside the Ironclad. So, same does the Demon Rift. I learned that the hard way. Just mortal wounds everywhere. So it's a good list, strong list, but well done for taking out that Sorcerer Lord.
Yes, that was really
it's critical. He makes him so good. He makes Archeon so much better.
Yeah, did he hit you with the Geminids at all?
Yes, he killed a gun hauler, and I think he damaged the other gun hauler, but then he failed to cast it in turn. No, there was no additional turn to cast it because he had no caster left. Yeah. End of turn 3.
Or your Ironclad or something then, because that would be.
Start of turn 3, his army was tabled. That's the KO way.
Either you get tabled or you table. Yeah. No, we don't have time for 5 rounds. Nonsense.
I guess the only other question I had about this, which I should have asked at the beginning, was obviously going into the last game, were you aware that if you won, you would basically win the tournament? Did that make you nervous at all? Or
I already found it funny that I play on the final table because, like I said at the beginning, I'm more of a casual gamer, and we are trying to get more into the competitive scene and playing more tournaments, but it's not that easy with our jobs and weekends. Very full planned,
busy people.
And so we just met each other and play some fun games, and then try to prepare for tournaments with our armies that we have. So we are not going to play versus some meta lists. Like I said, I had one match versus Scene Change Host, and that was the only list I played against from the top meta. So I think Gloomspite Gits and Sylvanet are not at all a good tournament preparation, but it made me consider the last word, because just like I said, if I had to face the one guy with 15 Loon Smasher fanatics, he had one squad of 10 and one squad of 5, and if I would have paired with him, I think I would have used my Ironclad as a bait for his Hand of Gog, and then he would have charged his 5 or 10 fanatics into my Ironclad, and I just shoot them after charge with last word. So that's something I had in mind. Yeah, but yeah, if you compare the armies, I think KO are in a much better position right now.
Definitely.
Although there was a Jaws of Mork army who came 9th place, I think.
Yeah, that was the guy with the 15
The
fanatics.
Alex, who's a seasoned player. It looked fun. Fun army.
But actually, I didn't understand why he used Jaws of Mork, because he didn't play one of the battalions they bring.
Because he wants to recycle squigs in the Loon Shrine.
Yeah, okay, if that's the reason.
Yeah, you can, with Jaws of Mork, you can decide to change what the Loon Shrine recycles. And maybe he chose it to recycle. I think he did, because he told me he had all these squigs on the side. I asked, are these then? He said, well, for now, maybe I get at the end of the round, I get to recycle them on a 4+, and then you get half of them back. And they all do extra damage, the squigs. So, yeah, the squig bites.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that was the reason.
No, but I'm very happy that my friend was still, motivated to play against me over and over again with the same KO list where he deploys somehow, and I just engage him and shoots him the half of this army, and then after turn 2 he has nothing less to do with, and then the games weren't really fun for him, I think. And yeah, we said we want to prepare for a tournament, so we didn't bring any fun lists, and therefore I had the Vortex, and that's not really fun to play versus at all. So that's a big shout out to him, because I think that's not that's not how to play versus friends.
Who needs friends?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay if you've set the scene of, you're doing tournament prep and they expect it, but if they're just expecting to come around and have a few beers and play a fun game, then yeah.
And you whip out that Vortex, yeah.
Yeah.
But nah, tournament prep is totally okay.
Yeah, sure. If you announce it, yeah.
Yeah, I think for our games I will go back for friendly Nighthaunt, and
is your friend Forston that's in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's saying he's be glad if you're going to playing something else now for the future. So that does bring me on to my next question, which is sort of in retrospect from your list for your next tournament or something. Would you change anything? Was there anything that you felt didn't perform in the list, or were you pretty much happy with everything?
Actually, I don't know if I would change this list or if I would try a completely different list. I think KO is in such a good spot right now to have 4 or 5 different lists, really, really strong. And if I would change something here, I think it would be the Battle Ram for the Ironclad. But that's, maybe in the games, the Battle Ram would have been better. I didn't need it. And the last word really, really, really overperformed in the game where I thought I had no chance to win at all versus the Idoneth. So maybe it makes the list versus mismatches even better. And if you have harder matchups where they want to charge and they do charge you, it makes it worse. So I don't know if it's a right or good decision. I think, like you said, there's no wrong decision, but it's hard to say. Fun fact is that my drill cannons made no mortal wounds over 5 games. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a mess, but yeah, I think I would keep them because that were just the dice, and you never know if you roll 2 6s on a drill launchers and you have that Chaos Sorcerer Lord dead this way, then it's very big. Yeah. And I don't see the other special weapons have that high peak where they can really, really make a big difference, and the drill launchers with that 3 flat mortals on 6s. And even if they just hit, 3 rend is really big as well. So
3 rend is really good.
The same reason I use them, yes. I mean, unless you want to go a different direction with your engine riggers, so make them chargy, so a skyhook, or make them to tag something like with the grapnel launcher that cannot retreat then.
Yeah.
But that's like a specific task then that you're assigning to the unit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you didn't come up against it much, really, but if you'd come up against something that can stack, negatives to hit, then having something that, well, you might not be able to hit with your normal weapons, but at least you've got the chance of getting your mortals with the drill cannons.
Yes.
Yes. True. Yeah.
Yeah. The last word and battle ram thing is something I go back and forth on a lot. The battle ram is like a really fun and aggressive way to play, but a lot about KO hinges on whether you get the priority or not. If you double turn, it's pretty much game over anyway.
Yeah.
So do you
and
need
versus the double turn, the last word is always better, because if you get charged and you shoot something and he is not able to kill your ironclad in that turn, and you just repair it in your turn and fly out and had that free shot, it's really big.
Unfortunately, I'm stuck with the billionth buoyancy aid. That's got to be stapled to my ironclad just so I can transport my thunders everywhere. I don't have time for your fancy shenanigans with your Overwatch and your ramming. I've got people to carry.
This is a transport business.
The battle bus.
Battle bus. Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, yes, the RAM is. I enjoyed using it because it's a guarantee for mortal wounds. Like if you really need something that, okay, I'll charge the boat in, reroll the charge with the navigator. Boom, 4 or 5 mortal wounds and the bombs on top. That thing is dead that you needed to get dead. But I don't know. I've never considered the last word because it's just the main cannon, the main gun. It's not the carbines, which are what does most damage on an ironclad, and the torpedoes. So I felt always a bit, it's cool, it shoots again, but it only shoots with a third of the output or a half of the output.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's some value to what you're saying, that if you get charged, like if things go wrong, people might even think twice charging the ironclad. That would have helped me loads in my game against Idoneth when everything charged the ironclad to then kill it, like to have that threat. Yeah, you can charge it, but I'm gonna shoot you and probably kill 3 heals, 2 heals.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Yeah.
This doesn't
Makes the decision harder.
Yeah. If people know about it. Yeah.
That's why you have to tell them about it.
Yeah. Advertise it.
Actually, it's true. Yeah. I always explained everything I can do before the game because I'm not the sneaky guy who says, "Oh, but I can do this now," and never mentioned it before because it's still a game, and I think if he says I never played to KO or was KO, I said.
Don't believe them when they tell you that.
Yeah.
Don't believe them when you tell you that.
Yeah. But if they say explain your list, I'm really going into everything. I may not mention any weapon profiles, but I tell them what everything can do and where I can move and what happens if you charge here, if I have the last word, and and I even tell them it's after the charge phase, not start of combat, because that's important as well for the fanatics and stuff, and it makes them think. And if you lose 2 eels before you fight and before you're able to activate your lightning, you think twice if you charge that ironclad. And I think that made hard decisions for Charles to make in the second game, and I think that's an underestimated point in Age of Sigmar, to give the enemy hard decisions to make, because if you have 3 units of, 20 Phoenix Guard, where one guy from Cities of Sigmar played, okay, I can charge here, there's 20 Phoenix Guard, I can charge here, there's 20 Phoenix Guard, they will do exactly what they do. And here you have many different units, and every unit has similar way to play with, but you have to make different amount of wounds to handle it, or different amount of damage to prevent him from fly high. And then there's the gun hauler which can fly high anytime, and so it's hard to say. So do I make 10 wounds on the ironclad and prevent him from fly high, but then I have to clear the riggers before, because they can repair, and then they still can fly high again. And if I'm not able to kill a gun hauler in one blast, so they can fly high anyway. So it's always this decision where makes it really hard to. Okay, sometimes it's easy, but there may be one crucial or critical moment where you have to make that decision, and then you said, "Oh, okay, I didn't kill the gun hauler. Now it can fly." That mess up everything, and
Yep.
It's good psychological warfare.
Yeah.
And we mentioned about the prospect of nerfs potentially coming. Are you tempted to try practicing things that you think are, potentially less likely to be nerfed, or are you more likely to just think, "I'll worry about that when if it happens," or?
I think I will wait for the nerfs, and then I don't think they will kill the army. I think they will nerf it.
Better not.
And maybe they do a big nerf where they go versus the fly high rule to maybe limit it to 1 ship per round, or maybe that would be a really big nerf.
Poor Phil.
Yeah.
With his 7 ships.
But if they just adjust the points again, and even if they go back to the pre-GHB points, I would have been
We're still pretty good.
happy. Yeah, we're still in a good position, I think.
But yeah, are they gonna do it? They're not gonna go like, oh, half a year. Oh, we're gonna put points down. Half a year later, oh, let's put them back up.
Yeah.
Because
but
we
I
have
never
no idea what we're
understood why
doing.
they put the points down after there were literally no play testing.
Go with it.
Lockdowns all over the place, and they just
because the points are from 11 months prior, so they decided 11 months earlier what the points should be in the GHB. There's no system to it. They just feel like it needed something. I don't know. I don't see. I think they get the Fire Slayer treatment from last year when Fire Slayers were very good in tournaments, and all that happened in the Winter FAQ was, oh, your 30-man Death Star is now 20-man, but you get a horde discount, so you can take 40. Congratulations. That was everything that happened. It was the best that happened. And yeah, I think we'll see something like that people will not understand, but
yeah,
or because they're not going to rewrite war scrolls or abilities, or maybe
they did for our first book, remember?
Yeah, and they got
only
all the
war
hate.
scroll that got
So let's hope they learn from that. Maybe like limit spell in a bottle to the like malign sorcery spells, not faction specific.
Yeah. But the trouble with that is they like selling kits of endless spells to KO players. So
yeah, because the Skaven players don't buy them anymore because it's 13-inch range. We need our terrain piece. Where's my terrain piece? Where's my sky harbor? Where is it? My big sky mine that floats around.
Here it is. This is it. It's not painted, but
mine's painted, but yeah.
Actually, I have the same.
It's my display board. It's on my display board. Yeah, actually, it's still in the car. I used it today for the best painted composition. Yeah.
Did you win that?
No, I won that last time, and this time I only came like 5th. I don't know. People got fed up with KO.
Obviously,
not this guy again.
Obviously, you must have thrown a bucket of paint over it or something to ruin the paint.
No, there was some beautiful over armies today there.
Teemo, you mentioned about potentially just playing a very different list. Like, do you think with the prospect of nerfs coming, having a second list practiced would be worthwhile? Or do you think it's something you might just do just because it would be fun to try something different?
Yeah, I think that's the main reason. But I want to find a reason to play Skywardens, and I want to find
I think there's a show on that somewhere.
Yeah, I think someone did a video.
So much to do a show about that.
Maybe I try to win a tournament with Barak Zilfin.
Do it.
But I think maybe something with a frigate and 10 Thunderers in it, and go for a higher drop count and say, okay, you make the decision who starts, and even if you make me go first, I overperform in the first round, and then you have the chance for the double, but
there's nothing left.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I think high drop count isn't that much of a problem because we perform good in every situation we were forced to be in. I think leaving the battalions at home and going for a mixed up Iron Rigger, Ironclad, 10 Thunderer, 20 Thunderer, big boats, drive by and shoot the hell out of everything. Maybe that's something I'm trying to play. But yeah, I think in some hard matchups where you know you want to go first, there could be a problem, and that's something. Yeah, maybe the point changes or the nerfs will force you into another battalion or into another hero setup, or yeah. I think I will wait for the nerfs because until then I'm going to play the lists I've written, and there's some lists with the Iron Sky Command and some Barak Overlords lists with many Thunderers, and yeah, I'm going to paint up some Sky ones to try out Barak Zon, and I think all of them are really, really strong, but I think the Vortex trick is just too powerful at the moment to play
Not take it.
Yeah. At
You have to take
tournament
it.
level, yeah, you have to take it. Yeah, that's the. And I think, yeah, you don't have to take the Vortex. I like your flare pistol idea, and I.
It's not my idea. It's Kron's idea. Actually, it's the Kron deploy and destroy. I just copied it and added I added a gun holder.
Yeah. It's actually really, really nice.
Death Star.
I'm 9 inches away. Oh, I'm 3 inches away. Everything shoots. You're gone. Unless you get -2 to hit, like I did today against Arceus Reapers. Then they don't hit. Nothing on a 5.
What I liked is a list I saw with
how you neg 2 to hit
Arcanauts, and then he had the Chemistus General with the Collector, and then he was able to take the Spell in the Bottle and the Flare Pistol, and that's actually a thing we should think about, because.
But then you need to take a lot of Arcanauts.
You have more corps.
Frigates.
That's true. Yeah.
That's what I do.
No Arcos, like well, maybe 20, like 2 10s and 1 frigate. Okay, maybe. But yeah, Kron, it was they have like a ability that just gives you for the points they have. They just give you -1 to hit to 1 unit board wide, and then if you're too close to the terrain piece on 18 inch, you can give another -1 to hit.
The catacross and the terrain. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was -2.
Yeah, okay.
And that really that makes you then hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s.
To 1 unit though. Only to 1 unit.
Thunderers.
20
Thunderers. What are you gonna do? 20 Thunderers. And yeah, the similar against Fire Slayers, like everything's -1 to wound. That already also is quite harsh. Then everything wounds on a 5.
Yeah. Well,
different stories, different war stories for another day.
If you want to see the Tarkin Doctrine list, the Face Smasher 2000, I was using that in the latest Doom and Darkness video. So Battle Report Against Ogres, Blade's Edge.
The one where you like flew high onto terrain.
No. There's going to be that was the last one. No. There's a new one. There's a new one.
There's a new one. Everyone, check the video. Watch it. If you find any rules cheating from Kron, report it in the comments.
I think the phrase you have to use.
Don't worry, I cheat as well.
See, that's why Kharadron Overlords win, right? Because we just cheat every single game.
The army is not overpowered. We're just cheaters.
Yeah.
Just guidelines.
They're more guidelines than actual rules, anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Better than I did there, Con.
Yeah.
The code can be bent.
So before we end the show, one last question. I guess it goes to yourself as well, Max, as well as Teemo. Are there any other tournaments coming up in Germany where either of you might attend?
Teemo?
Can we see?
I don't know if I have the time to play another tournament in the next month, but yeah, maybe in December. But who knows how it's going with the pandemic? And yeah, I guess that was pretty much it for the year. And yeah, it's a sad year for tabletop tournaments. Many are cancelled, and some are smaller than they were planned. Yeah.
Oh well.
So
Well, hopefully then the new year then, and if we're not naffed,
then we just make this a Fire Slayer chat. I don't know. Yeah, I've played one today, so like already a week after. Today was 16 people. One day was good, was fun, good competitive people. There's another one planned in 2 weeks, a one day, but it looks like probably it's gonna get cancelled, and there's only like 8 people signed up yet. And there's another one planned in December, I think, a one there, but I'm not sure if that's like actually is gonna happen. There's a few planned for January, but they're still waiting. But I think also like for this year, that was it.
Okay.
I've got a one day coming up in 3 weeks. See how that happens. But it's just one day, 3 games. You know.
Yeah,
it's gonna be small.
Easier. They're smaller. Still, you get to play 3 games, which is fun.
I'm not gonna take it too seriously. Probably gonna take Go Trek. It's gonna be great.
Yes. And also for me, like I played since the summer quite a few tournaments with KO, and then also the 2 there in Hereford. Maybe I need a little break now from playing tournaments and just
Christmas break.
Yeah, let's see what the Christmas Battle Force boxes will be this year. Maybe there's something interesting.
I don't think it's going to be KO though.
No KO, and I don't need another 10 chips. Like I have stuff. I've got 2 weeks of holiday now ahead of me, so I have 2 unpainted frigates. So maybe that's a project.
So you have 2 painted frigates in 2 weeks.
Maybe paint a frigate in a week. Make a video of it. Yeah, you know. Screw those 24-hour painting challenges. Let's make it a 7-day painting challenge for one model. Yeah, but let's see. Next year, strong. We'll be back, hopefully with tournaments and have fun.
Well, yeah. Well, I think we've covered everything then. It's been great. Oh, someone's dropped something.
Yep, that was me.
Well, it's been great to have you come on the show, Teemo. Love to have you on again at some point as well. Max and Con, obviously, brilliant to have you on as always.
Yeah, sorry for being late. There was some delay with the prize giving ceremony because first and second place, they were equal on points, equal on secondaries, equal on tiebreaker, and they had to figure some way out to decide who wins. I think then they went.
Rock, paper, scissors,
they went with strength of schedule, and then my mate actually won the first prize, and he got a money prize, and he had to choose something, and jobs were closing, and it took some time. And now he's building a Beast Claw Raider army, I think.
No, if it's a money prize, they could have just split it between first and second.
No. No, I think both wanted the prize and the trophy, but it was fun. It was fun. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you to everyone that's been watching. If you like the show, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe. If you've got anything you want to say to us, and comment, obviously.
I have a question.
Oh, right, sorry.
What's the plan for the next shows?
I don't know. I haven't
I think we have a plan, and it's a long list, but maybe give some teasers.
there's a rough plan, but there's nothing set in stone. So we are obviously doing the series on Skyports. So at some point there will be a show on a Skyport, which we haven't decided which one it's going to be yet. We have no idea if someone's going to win a tournament with KO, because that seems to happen a lot.
They are doing that.
Yeah. So,
Cheaters.
Yeah. Cheaters. Cheaters going to cheat. And then, I don't know, I did wonder about doing a whole show speculating about the nerfs and how Games Workshop could fix KO.
Ooh.
So if you think that would be a fun show, let us know in the comments whether you like that. And yeah, also let us know which Skyports you want us to do.
Barak
So we've done Barak Zon, right?
Yeah.
We've done Barak Zon. So next up, Barak Thring, home of the Hell Cannons.
Home of all the fiery slayers that you can fit in a boat.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things we need to talk about on the show we haven't got around to doing yet. So
there's a tournament pause. We can use the time.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Max and Alex and Teemo. And come watch us again soon.
Thanks for preparing the show, Lee.
Thank you.